Program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Business Buzz with your host, Frank Helring. Do you own a small business, or does that small business own you? Are you seeking increased sales, more loyal customers, lower operation costs, and brand loyalty? If you're interested in elevating your brand and expanding your reach, then Business Buzz will put it all together for you with expert guests, resources that make sense, and your opportunity to be heard. Get ready to call in with your questions and comments at 1-866-472-5790. That's 1-866-472-5790. Business Buzz is out to put the buzz back into your business. Here's your host, Frank Helring.
Hey, can you hear the buzz? Welcome wherever you may be. You have found Business Buzz. I'm your host, Frank Helring, and we're coming to you live, prime time on the Voice America Business Network channel. And Business Buzz is brought to you today by Moda Business Solutions because they have resources that make sense. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're a small business owner out there today and you got a little thing out there called merchant processing, yeah, you know, that statement you get 4 pages long, hieroglyphics is how they use language. You can't even read really what that figure is, right? That they're charging you against every single sale that goes ching ching through that little box there on your top of your desk there at the front counter. I'm telling you something, you need to find out what that says. So you need to pick up the phone and dial 858-251-4640. That's 858-251-4640. And get with Moda Business Solutions because I guarantee you they can blacken your bottom line. To contact the show, you can call us toll free at 877-3-NOW-BUZ or go to my live landing page, which is BizZne.live, and go and get to my email. Send me some contact information and we'll see if we can't get you on the show. Well, shout out to one of my incredible advertisers, letip.com, letip.com, B2B, all over the country, 4,500 small businesses strong, exploding in the Northeast. Listen, if you want to get in a group of people that are in your local community and for a breakfast or a lunch, and when you walk in, even as a guest, you're the most important person in the room. And if you fit their particular profile and match a particular category of business, you will occupy a chair week in, week out, and everybody in that room is going to be billboarding your company. So you need to get with letip.com today and find out what you're missing. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be taping a show tomorrow with my incredible political co-host, Natasha Friedman. We're going to start taking apart the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, we're going to tape it, but we're going to show it off in the October realm, like towards the end, right before midterms, because I'll tell you what, you small business folks out there need to understand what's going to come your way and very soon. Well, I'll tell you what, today I am announcing an incredible benefit that's going to be forthcoming on my show. Are you ready? $2,500 worth of free advertising on an incredible internet engine. I'll tell you what, stay tuned. Next week, I'll give you all the particulars. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm so excited about the show today because I've been telling you really for a long period of time that I'm excited about women in business. Very excited about women in business. The reason why is because I think they're a power source that's absolutely untapped out there right now. As a matter of fact, I'm working very diligently right now, bringing up a woman co-host, possibly, and taking it even further, putting her on her own show. So I'll tell you what, this is going to be absolutely amazing as we push it forward. But I am joined today by Cindy Birkland. She's a retirement and financial representative, real estate and investment expert, record-breaking leader in sales for high-yielding companies across the Las Vegas Valley. She's an entrepreneur. Cindy is a professional background that represents unparalleled experience and ability to bring revenue into a company. During her time in owning a mortgage company, she trained over 100 loan officers, enabling them to make hundreds of thousands of dollars during their careers. She's a leading sales representative for a select few companies in Las Vegas. She's contributed to her fellow sales staff by hosting private coaching sessions to improve their abilities. By doing so, she transformed her team into the highest grossing sales team in Las Vegas. Cindy's credentials speak volumes to her capabilities. It should be noted that not only has she generated success on her own behalf, but she's led hundreds of people to their successes as well. She knows that the absolute key to bringing revenue to a company is through sales and the sales staff. She has a unique and no nonsense approach to promote the knowledge, skills, and abilities of sales professionals. Her methods have proved effective in multiple arenas in various companies, leading to many successes that they have desired. I'll tell you what, Cindy's a mover. She's a shaker. She's an entrepreneur. She's a power woman in that Las Vegas space. Cindy Birkland, welcome to Business Buzz.
Hi, Frank. I am so honored to be on the show. Thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun.
You're welcome. And I said it right there at the preface, my dear. You are a powerhouse in the small business community in Las Vegas. Tell my audience a little bit of your background that I didn't cover in your bio.
Well, my background really predominantly was mortgage and real estate for many, many years. And in 2008, the crash just about took me out. So I ended up going into financial services later in about 2013 because my finances were actually in shambles, and I couldn't understand what in the world happened to me financially. So I ended up in the business because I was so very upset about what had happened to me in my finances. And I've always been an entrepreneur. So for me, I've always been in networking events. Well, when COVID happened, I actually started a networking event called Speakeasy Networking with a partner. And we're really, really trying to help small businesses. I think that's how you and I ended up meeting, and you found out about me. So I'm really big into networking. I'm really big into politics here in town. I'm not afraid to speak my voice when it comes to showing up for the little guy. And for me, that represents a lot of business owners here in town. I'm kind of the voice for the voiceless, and small business really is the little guy. But small business is what keeps our country afloat. So if we're not okay, the country's not okay. So I just, for me, I'm just the loudmouth that says what needs to be said, and to support businesses and, support my business. I'm always looking at what's going to help, for my business, because if it's helping my business, it's going to help my fellow business owners as well.
Cindy, you're in a unique part of the world, Las Vegas. It's called Sin City. It's called a lot of different names, but I'll tell you what, it is an absolute lightning rod for business, because you got the major convention center there, right? A lot of companies are flying in people from all over the world, right? And all of a sudden, here comes this pandemic that shut down the lights of Las Vegas for how many months, and then around that, you've got this supporting mechanism of a bunch of small businesses, right, that live upon those casinos going down the Strip and down Fremont and different things like that. A lot of support goes towards the small business community from Las Vegas gambling, right? Yeah. So, when that happened in Las Vegas, obviously you were right in the midst. How was that really perceived, that here's this incredible business empire, all of a sudden the lights went out?
Well, for those that I was reaching one by one, some of my small business owner friends were referring their small business owner friends to me because because I am a financial planner, they were looking for my advice on what to do. And so I was helping them individually on, okay, here we're going to need to move monies and do this to get you to stay afloat. A lot of people were, reaching out, trying to get those loans, but a lot of people couldn't get those loans for whatever reason. They had whatever glitch in the system with their taxes or whatever. So what I was really doing is the thing that I looked around and saw was, oh my God, I am going to watch this, 2008 part 2, and I'm just not going to watch my fellow business owner friends go under again. Over my dead body. So we started the Speakeasy Networking event, and we call it Speakeasy because we weren't supposed to be doing it. We were supposed to be muzzled. We were supposed to be masked. And I started having the event at my home. We started with 18 business owners, the very first event we had. And by the third event, I had people coming to me at the very end of the event as they're walking out my door, crying, thanking me. I feel normal here. I feel like the world is working in this environment. We can do this together. Thank you for taking a stand for us. And I'm like, how are we supposed to do business with all these masks on, doing these networking events? So, having it at my home, I said, people have an issue, take it up with the governor. And I'm like, by the way, I'm the governor of this house. So there won't be masks here. We're going to do business as usual. And what ended up happening, Frank, is we had 2 startups. One of our startups, he was so freaked out about coming to the Speakeasy Networking. He goes, Cindy, I'm not even official yet. I don't have a business license. I don't have business cards. I said, you need to get here. And right now, he has bought his second business. So his business merged, and one of the companies here in Vegas were selling their business, and he ended up buying theirs, and his business has exploded. And his start came from us. Like, he had no business, and we started him right here at Speakeasy. So he gives us a lot of credit for that. And we had 3 companies that did not file bankruptcy because they were able to get in. And basically in the 3 hours that we're together, I always have that business owner share, what is your need right now this month that we here can help you with? And we shower them with love, like whatever they need. Elon Musk talks about business showers. When people have a baby, they have a baby shower. We kind of have a business shower. And what that means is we shower that person with whatever their need is. I've had people come and say, I can't come to your networking event because I'm out of work. My business is failing. I need to get a job. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you come here? You're going to be in front of 70 business owners. And I've had people get jobs that night because they came to the event. Somebody's looking for what you have. You just got to get here and get in front of people. So currently we're running about 120 business owners through both homes. We've had to spread out. We now have a Henderson Speakeasy and a Summerlin Speakeasy. So it's really taken off. I'm very, very pleased with what's been happening. We've continued on now that the whole COVID thing is supposedly over or whatever, but we're not going to stop it. The momentum is huge now. So we're here supporting one another, period.
So you didn't pull resources and go buy Jerry Lewis's house, right? to be able to expand.
My house will hold about 100 without problem. I mean, my neighbors love me, but not that much. They're getting tired of, once a month, our neighborhood looks like a parking lot. So I just want to respect my neighbors. They've been very, very good about everything. But now it's, Joseph Martinez is my partner on the other side of town. We have the same challenges at his house now in Summerlin, but it's only once a month. The neighbors have been fairly gracious. So I'm grateful for what it's created. It's got a momentum. It's all its own. And not to mention a lot of people that have been running for office, they're political campaign managers call me and say, hey, can we bring our candidates to talk to all these business owners? Because they've finally figured out, hey, we're the ones that are the driving force, because it's not just us, it's all the employees that work for us too that vote. So they've kind of figured out they need us. Kind of a cool thing.
I was wondering about the density of that speakeasy, because we had that incredible 6 foot apart, nonsense that happened in the pandemic, and they called it social distancing. Mm-hmm. And I keep saying, how in the world can you be distanced and be social? And how can you be distanced? It's social be distanced. It's ridiculous what they came up with. Now, let me ask you a question, Cindy. I've been saying on this show, really since its inception, that small businesses need to, number 1, recover. Number 2, they need to rejuvenate. Number 3, they need to return to profitability. How is the speakeasy going down that pathway? Because the reason why I instituted that is because the crutch loan money, as you talked about just a few minutes ago, is gone and it's never coming back.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you an example. Michael W. Rogers, he is my photographer. He does my headshots. And he does the cover, some of the magazine covers for a couple of magazines here in town. And when everything was shut down, obviously he wasn't doing covers. But I hounded him for about a year to start coming to Speakeasy. And he was like, I'm just so struggling right now. I'm like, well, get over here. He now is doing tons of business cover shots for all of the business owners here in Las Vegas. So it's keeping his business afloat immediately.
Well, I'll tell you what, what you're doing in that neck of the woods is absolutely unbelievable. The way you've named it, and I'm going to move to my first break here, but before I get there, I used to be a fan of the Untouchables when I was a kid, right? And of course, they had the speakeasies and Elliot Ness's going out and busting them and things like that. Did you have that sliding thing in the door, when they came to the door?
We haven't done that yet, but we've talked about that. We'd like to put together, we're talking about a fundraiser and maybe do an official speakeasy fundraiser. We're making it fun and dress up in the 20s and do something like that.
That would be so cool. Well, we got to break away for a break here real quick. You're listening to Business Buzz with Frank Helring live on Voice America Business Network, brought to you by CaliforniaSeniorGuide.com. That is one of the biggest magazines in the country, catering to the senior community, about 1 million eyeballs on it every single month in the state of California. If you are a small business out there and you want to get access to one of the biggest market centers in the country, representing now about 80 million people, you need to get with CaliforniaSeniorGuide.com today and talk about a quarter-page ad, an eighth-page ad, a half-page ad, a full-page ad like I negotiated for Voice America, and, of course, my show. You'll see it in their magazine, Up with Lisa Gibbons, on the cover. And let me tell you something. They put a star on the cover of that magazine every single time they publicize. So you tell me what the social media following is of Elisa Gibbons. In the millions. So you tell me how you could take your product and service and put it out there where it's going to do the most good. So you need to go to CaliforniaSeniorGuide.com today. You'll get a little pop-up box. Put your email in there, and believe me, they'll get in contact with you about how you can get in that magazine real soon. Well, I'll tell you what, I have been mixing it up with Cindy Birkland. What an amazing powerhouse woman in the Las Vegas community. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be in Vegas the 30th of October. So Cindy and I are going to hook it up somewhere during that time, and I'm out there. But let me tell you something. Vegas is an incredible landing zone for business. So you need to pay attention to this show today to find out what's really happening and not what the media is telling you. Okay. We're going to be right back with more buzz for your business.
Your event can motivate your team and your customers, which means he can also motivate the growth of your business. It's time to take it to the next level. Visit businessbuzz.com and watch things grow. You're listening to Business Buzz with your host, Frank Helring. To reach the live show, please call 1-866-472-5790. Again, that's 1-866-472-5790. Or send Frank an email at info@businessbuzz.com. That's info@BIZZNESS buzz.com. Now, back to Business Buzz.
Hey, welcome back. I'm your host, Frank Helring, on Business Buzz. I've been mixing it up with Cindy Birkland. She's an absolutely powerhouse woman in the Las Vegas community. Cindy, you are involved in a lot of arenas, right, of service in that community, but you've got a business out there right now in financial services, right? And I have a background. I had 20 years in the insurance game, 4 years in equities, a lot of different hats in that realm. Right now, we're being challenged with some stuff, right? And I'm going to be doing a show on that. I'm doing a taping tomorrow to tear apart this Inflation Reduction Act, with my political co-host, Natasha Friedman, and we're going to air it in October in time for the midterm elections. Let me ask you a question. What are you doing? What are you running into right now in this financial services realm, especially with small businesses, because they really, really got hammered during this pandemic, and their financial assets, capital's king. Right now, they can't find it.
I am very freaked out for a lot of people. I have to say, with the stock market doing what it is right now, most people are down about 30%, and they're panicking, like their assets are depleting right before their eyes. Unfortunately, for most of America, people have their money in a 401k plan or an IRA. When we're in qualified plans, I'm just not going to lie, we're in trouble. And just most people are not educated when it comes to their money. So I spend a lot of time. I do a How Money Works workshop. I do workshops for anybody that wants it, but I spend a lot of time educating my clients because they're in the boat that they are, because they know what they know, and we don't know enough. So letting people know, screaming it from the rooftops as loud as I can. There are other products out there that you can protect yourself from, that you don't have to be in these situations where, people have it that, well, I have to take risk in order to make money. I'm like, no, you do not. Nobody should be risking their money. And frankly, that's why I got into the business back in 2013, because I had lost millions of dollars. 2008 did not do me well. And I realized that, as smart as I thought I was, I did not know anything about money, even being a mortgage broker for 20 years by the time '08 happened. So I added that piece in there. So really, I educate people about mortgage lending, like what loans are good for you and what loans aren't, and what financial products are good and which ones aren't. And not everybody is the same. So we can't treat everybody the same. But right now I'm spending a lot of time educating people on products and moving their money as fast as I can. Business owners, they're seeing it the worst because they are tapping into their assets to keep afloat. So I'm just saying, like, let's point you in the right direction. Let's get you in a target rich environment. Get over here to Speakeasy Networking. We are the hottest game in town right now. And, people are calling, they want to be involved. And I'm like, you've got to be out there. Dollars, you got to earn dollars. And if you're not earning dollars, you're going to be pulling into your portfolio. And that is not good. Your portfolio has already shrunk 30% probably this year. So it's education is what I do.
Yeah, we just had the president come out and make an announcement in July that we had zero inflation, right? In the month of July. Wow. I don't think he's gone to the grocery store. I don't think he's gone, to try and buy baby formula and a myriad of other things, because just obviously the restaurant owner the other day getting, some really nice food for dinner for my wife and I. And I asked him, what's your food costs gone up? And he said 30 to 50%. Absolutely. 30 to 50%. He said, and he said, it doesn't stop there. He said, the cardboard boxes that we wrap the pizzas in, right? They've gone up 3 times in price. Now, these type of things that are hitting small business right now, Cindy, obviously that's going to affect, your consulting level big time, right? When you're talking to these guys, because where are we at? If you say trust, you want to trust a business owner, especially somebody who's, dealing with your finances, right? But now trust is basically vanquished in this country, and it's birthed a baby called uncertainty. How are you dealing with that out there right now? Because it's very, very difficult. Even me, with my small business up in Yorba Linda medical aesthetics practice. I don't like being in an uncertain environment.
Well, I have said to people for the longest time, you need to privatize your money. Stop putting your money in qualified plans, because the second you do that, you've just jumped in bed with the government. Who trusts the government right now? Do you really trust the government to be okay, with your money? Like, you're letting the government tell you when you can take your money out. Because I'm having to tell people, they're like, well, let's just move my 401k. I'm like, you're not 59 and a half and you're still gainfully employed. We can't move your money. And they're looking at me crazy. I'm like, you signed up for that. You jumped in bed with the devil when you signed up for your 401k plan. And most people don't realize when you're not in charge of your money, when your money is in a qualified plan. So I tell that, if you're able to, let's privatize your money. And that's where I come along with different products, and especially more along the lines of tax-free. Let's call it tax advantage to keep my attorneys happy. But, why would you pay taxes now or taxes later when you can tax advantage, not pay taxes if you're doing it the right way? So I have products out there for that. And a lot of what my small business owners are starting to realize is you've got to start using more life insurance vehicles. If you want flexibility in your business, you've got to be able to move money around. You can take loans against your policies. You can overfund them. You can underfund them. Certain policies that I have are going to be flexible. We don't always have ups and we don't always have downs, but we do have ups and downs. And you need to have a policy or a banking system within your business that you control, not the government. So I was just working with a very sharp young gal this week, and she's like, I'm moving all my money to you. I've been working with my financial advisor for the last 2 years. I've been squawking that this is what I need, and this is exactly what you brought to the table. And she gave her money to him, and within days, $3,000 was gone because he stuck it right in directly into the market. So these are things that, I dealt with as a business owner, and I got into financial services because what happened to me. So I am the poster child of loss. I know what it's like to lose. And I'm just like, I'm like, you don't have to do this. I'm telling you, I went through this and I learned from this. And now I'm out there telling people what can be done. It doesn't have to look like that standard stuff, but one thing it rests on us is to get educated about our money and to get educated about what's going on out there. And if you don't want to, you better get with somebody that knows. So, that's why I do a lot of podcasts that, I have a daily podcast and we talk about money, and I'll do a segment on, okay, why I hate 401ks, or what you need to know about annuities, or what you need to know about life insurance. It's about educating people.
Yeah. It's funny, Cindy, I was in that arena from the 70s to the 90s. Right where you're at in that space. I was actually, at the forefront when 401k, nobody even knew how to spell that, right? Yeah. And what ended up happening was the old defined benefit pension plans had to be unbundled, right? Because they were becoming too expensive because of the way the interest rate fluctuation was going. The higher the interest rates, the more they had to throw in the pension plan, right? Yeah. So the corporations of America said, let me get out of here. And then Peter Drucker came along from the Claremont University. He said the PBGC, which is a benefit pension guarantee board, which backs every pension in the United States, didn't have enough money to back everybody. So, wow, where are we at here? It's almost like, what we just had the announcement, the SBA ran out of money on EIDL loans. Figure that one out, right? Somebody's asleep at the watch, in this country. But the bottom line here is that pension assets are under attack. Okay. Mm-hmm. Big time. That Secure 2.0 that passed this year, my goodness, eliminated stretch IRAs. Now they're talking about basically turning around and moving that yardstick back up to where when you pull from that, they're going to get maximum taxation on that. Not any way to ferret that out or spread that out like it was before. Forget about it. Those days are gone. And we're looking at possibility of 30% shrinkage on your IRA funds on a pullout. God help us, because where are we going to get the assets? Social Security is going to be bankrupt, according to the politicians, by 2030. So where are we at here, Cindy? How are you addressing this at the levels that you've got at your disposal currently?
Well, I have the solution for that. I do, and not everybody qualifies for this, but for most small business, they will. I have a product that I use. It's in the form of a premium financing solution, but how it works is, for every dollar you put into the plan, there's a bank that comes along and will give you $3. So you're getting to use the bank's money, and so now you're getting your 3 times as much, because we always tell people you need to probably put 30% away of your retirement to retire well. Most people are like, I don't have an extra anything to put away right now because I'm trying to survive this inflation. Well, here's the bottom line. You can figure out how to get your money into a premium financing solution. That is going to be the answer on the other side when it's time to retire, because you've had now the use of a bank's money. For every dollar you put in, they give you 3. You're using their money. The bank is making interest on that money. The bank is very secure. It's tied to a life insurance policy. And on the other side, when you get to be 65 and 70 years old, you're pulling out tax-free retirement money. So whatever Social Security is doing, whatever your IRA is doing, this is going to carry through. And these things have been basically weighed against some of the worst tax environments. They've come up against the 2008 depression, the depression that we had in 1929. So they've run these things against those, like as if the market, is going to have the worst of the worst, which it looks like it's going to. These things are standing up against those. So, and your money's protected. It's not directly in the market. So these are the things that if people call me, I can get them set up on these. And it takes the stress out. And I do have a client that is going to be calling in, and he's going to be talking about this. He was in this very same situation. And for a lot of my people, A, they either started late, or B, 2008 took them out. I was one of those people. So I went back when I got into financial services, because I was a mortgage broker. I went back to all my realtors and mortgage brokers and said, you know what? I know the losses you've suffered, and this is the solution. So now we're in an inflationary period, and this is the solution for that. We've got to get more control over our money and stop giving the government all this control. It's ridiculous.
It's amazing. When we first sold 401k, the pitch was very simple, right? Tax deductible, right? Contributions, tax deferred until retirement. And of course, the nitwits at that time said, and you'll probably be in a lower tax bracket when you take the funds out. Sound familiar, right? I mean, give me a break. If you're in a lower tax bracket, you got to be broke under our, current system. So we are basically being bookended here to some degree, and the government's on both sides of this bookend, ready to just swallow this alive, Cindy. So what you're doing, I mean, I don't think this is, a luxury. It's a necessity. Would you agree?
It absolutely is. And, for most people, right now, I look at they're doing the ostrich thing. They're sticking their head in the sand. And I'm like, this is not the time to do that. We have got to go in this with both eyes open. And, so many people, though, Frank, are not thinking about retirement and their future because they can barely get by today. And this is where it's really important that you sit down with a money coach, someone like myself, that says, look, it's not as bad as you think if you take steps. You've got to take some action. I always tell people you got to watch out for inflation, taxation, and risk. 3 things that you've got to watch out for when investing. But there's also another one, and that's procrastination. You got to get on it. You got to take action today. If you don't start taking steps today, it's not going to happen. So it's really, for me, it's about education with people, is finding out what products you have. And I won't move forward with a client until I know they really understand their money and what they're doing, because I'm like, you have to know this. What happened to me should never happen to what happened in 2008. And that was because I really trusted the people I was doing business with, and they did not do me well. And I don't want people to be in that situation. You have to know what's going on with your money.
Yep. And I'm broadcasting. Yeah, I'm broadcasting for California, which is effectively now called the Gulag, right? Because of all the different regulatory our wonderful governor is doing. And last year I had a guest on my show who is, heavily involved in putting 401k on small businesses, because the state of California passed an absolute law that if you don't have a qualified defined, pension plan, 401k in the state of California by a certain date, which is now passed, 5 or more, down to 5 or more employees, they're going to send you a $250 per employee per month bill until you comply. So what's going on here? Let's think about it from that aspect. Now the government's going to drive the population into these instruments so they can tax them down the road. Hello? Absolutely.
I call your governor the deal prevention team. Anything that would be for business, they kill it with all the legislation. It's sick. What do I say to this? Bottom line is everybody should have some kind of a retirement plan set up. Yep. When it comes to business, but 401k is not the answer. Between all the fees these things are riddled with, and they don't tell you, you'll never find that in a prospectus ever, all the fees. A typical 401k has about 17 different fees inside of it. Mm-hmm. So if you're not getting killed from the fees, now you're getting killed in the market. Mm-hmm. So it's an awful plan for the average person in America.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cindy, what you're doing is absolutely unbelievable. And when you think about it from the aspect, that you're doing it from Las Vegas and not California. I wish you were in California.
Because I am licensed in California.
Oh, are you? Well, I'll tell you what.
Business in California.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I'm out running around, I'm going to say, call Cindy. Okay. But awesome. I mean, the bottom line here is that America is small business. Okay. And without small business, we are in deep, what in this country. And that's the reason why I've been on this show for now all 2 years or more. I've got over 100 shows in the can. And I'm telling you something right now, what's going on in Washington is sooner or later going to trickle down. And when it does trickle down, you're going to be a busy lady, right?
Yeah. Well, already I am. The stock market is sending people running to me in the droves like, please help, Cindy. What can we do?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to pick it up. I got to take another quick break here, Cindy. You are listening to Business Buzz Live with Frank Helring on Voice America Business Network, brought to you now by Business Group Resources. I'm telling you something right now, and we're talking about tax here, folks. Have you ever heard of the R&D tax credit? Because if you haven't heard of the R&D tax credit, you dang well need to find out about it, because these guys for the last 15 years have been pulling a lot of money back out of the IRS and putting it in the hands of small business to the tune of about $1 million a week right now. And as a matter of fact, I just cut a JV with one of my upcoming advertisers, Affordicare Insurance Services, out of Dallas, Texas, biggest benefits platform in the USA. And they cut a deal with Business Group Resources because they got a cross-marketing referral relationship, and it's going to be massive between these two organizations. So I'm telling you something, if you want to find out whether or not you qualify for the tax credit, pick up that doggone phone and dial 877-857-6875. 877-857-6875. Give it my good buddy, Ken DeBose out there in Irvine, California. He can tell you within 15 minutes whether you qualify to get the money back that you paid in the last 3 years and every year going forward from then with 6% compounded tax-free interest from good old Uncle Sam. Well, I'll tell you what, I have been mixing it up with Cindy. What an amazing lady out in that Vegas community. Now I find out that she's reaching over to California, which is even better. We're going to be right back with Business Watch, where you, my live audience, have the opportunity to call in and mix it up with us. And we're going to bring back more buzz for your business.
Visit businessbuzz.com and watch things grow. PPP, COVID-19, SBA, is there a way? It's time for Business Watch, where your voice matters. Call into the show at 1-866-472-5790. That's 1-866-472-5790. Or drop us an email at info@businessbuzz.com. That's info@BIZZNESS buzz.com. We know you've got something to say. Now, here's Frank Helring, Business Watch, where your voice matters.
Hey, we're back. I'm Frank Helring, live now on Business Watch. This is a segment of the show where we open up the phone lines in Phoenix and allow you, my live listening audience, to call in and mix it up with me or my fantastic guest, Cindy Birkland, today. So pick up the phone and dial 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. And you could be on live on Business Watch right now. Well, son of a gun, Cindy, we already got a live call in. Hey, Diana, how you doing? Welcome to Business Watch.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. So happy that you called in. Have you got a question or a comment for either me or my fabulous guest, Cindy?
Yeah, I have a testimonial. My name is Diana Dykes. I've done mortgages for over 27 years, but over 15 years, Cindy Birkland has helped me and my family. If you don't go to this lady, she just, during the mortgage crisis, she took my money and doubled it. I was at Morgan Stanley, and she showed me all the fees that Morgan Stanley was paying. I am in it is calling a death living benefit, $1 million policy. She showed me how to double my money when I'm retired. My husband just recently has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And it derailed our entire family. We did not know how we were going to pay for the medical bills, how we were going to just catch up. He had to stop, working. And we were just, a loss of an income. And it just took us by surprise. He was perfectly healthy. His living death benefit just saved our family. If you do not, it's a fact. This is a testimonial fact. Cindy Birkland is very professional. She'll answer her phone at 10 o'clock at night. I'm a businesswoman, but she takes business to the next level. So I just want to thank her. And we're still going through the cancer process, but it financially, she worked her miracle. We just thought we were just going to be drained and had to file bankruptcy. So thank you, Cindy.
Well, and I, Diana, thank you. I really, the situation with them is, Kevin had gotten a policy, and we had designed the policy for cash in retirement, tax-free. But what this policy also had attached to it is critical illness riders, living benefits riders. So what this allows for is you can get out of up to 100% of the death benefit if you have, like in Kevin's case, stage 4 cancer. So they did release 100% of the death benefit directly to Kevin and Diana because their bills were just, and, when she called me and told me that Kevin had cancer, I was floored, A, but B, I was like, let's get into this policy. This is what this has. So the plan was A, but we ended up using it for C. And right now, as he's going through chemo, and I'm so grateful that they had put their trust in me, but that's what these policies are for. So, Diana and Kevin are both small business owners. And again, when a small business owner is out of work due to something this catastrophic, the bills immediately mount up. So this is exactly what these plans, when you privatize your money, this is what you get. So even in the worst of situations, you can take lemons and make some lemonade.
Yep. Diana, would you like to help Cindy out beyond this show?
Absolutely.
Great. We're going to have the rebroadcast.
Yeah.
We're going to have the rebroadcast playback of the show up, professionally edited within 4 hours of airing. And Cindy will get that out to you, and you blast that out to all your social media and your influencers, right? Because this is going to be part of her marketing. This is going to be part of her marketing, Diana, and you can be a big help.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Diana.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Me and my family. So yeah, absolutely.
You got it. You have a great day out there, Diana. And I'll tell you what, we're gonna be saying a prayer for your husband, okay?
Yep.
And your
Thank
family.
you.
For sure. Thank you for
that.
calling into
Appreciate
Business
you.
Watch. You bet. Renato,
Right.
we got a Renato out there. Renato, hey, Renato, how you doing? Welcome to Business Watch.
Thank you.
How you doing? Have you got a question or a comment for myself or Cindy?
Well, actually, more of a comment. So I've been successfully running businesses my whole life. And one of the things that we did was we followed a lot of the traditional advice that we got from traditional financial planners, not realizing that those were actually, it's kind of like a ticking time bomb is the way it felt when we looked much deeper into it. And Cindy gave us the ability to see things on, I use the term how money works, differently with the way she projected it and presented it to my wife and I. And now we have a much more solid, stable financial plan for retirement. And so I'm very grateful for her for doing that. And it's given us the breathing room to know that we're not going to get hit with all these different taxes and fees and stuff when we get into those retirement years. So thank you again, Cindy.
Yeah, Renato, what kind of small business do you
working with you?
Yeah, what kind of small business do you own out there?
We do title services in the real estate world.
Outstanding.
So when somebody buys a house, you close escrow in a traditional fashion, and then someone may need to add, maybe it was the non-borrowing spouse or another family member to the title of the property, or they may want to transfer it to a trust or their business. Or when somebody passes away or goes through the divorce, names have to be removed and protect those properties from potential probate pitfalls.
Well, I'm sure you're dealing with some challenges right now in the real estate industry with the FRB raising the interest rates, right? Cindy, how long have you had this guy as a client?
Renato I think you've been with me about 5 years. Is that right, Renato?
Yeah, we've known each other probably close to 20.
Yeah, we've known each other about 20 years. Actually, it was interesting. Renato and Diana actually worked together. They were very instrumental in my mortgage business at Countrywide. So they were my bankers. And, we had been friends for years. So again, when I went into financial services, I knew the losses they had suffered. And, of course, friendship, but you still have to earn your business. But I was showing them, look what happened to me and look what can be done about it. And I didn't want any of my friends or people I care about or other business owners suffering like I did. So, again, it really helps to understand from the inside out what is going on, because I was one of those people that went through that. And we don't have to suffer loss or put our money at risk to make money. That's a ridiculous fallacy. But again, traditional advisors will tell you got to risk to make money.
Renato, thank you so much for calling a Business Watch. Will you give Cindy a helping hand out there and push this show out for us?
Absolutely.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for calling into Business Watch. Well, I'll tell you what, Cindy, that's incredible, to have clients call in and basically, legitimize what we've been talking about on this show, right?
Yeah. Blessing.
I'll tell you what, we've got another live call-in out there. Simone, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing great. You're actually the gal that did the introduction that brought Cindy on my platform. So many thanks from me. But let me ask you a question. How did you run across Cindy?
Through Speakeasy. My husband and I are now refugees from California. We were in Nevada, I think, a week, and we got invited to the Speakeasy. And I'm so grateful to Cindy for what she does at the Speakeasy, because it's made it so easy for us to transition here into Nevada, which is phenomenal, I might tell you. I have a thing that I wanted to share, and this is when I think about Cindy's education, and what she does is peel back the curtain with regards to the banking system, the Federal Reserve. All of that is part of her educational piece. And the thing is that came up for me was, do you know what is the difference between conspiracy theory and reality?
Are you asking me that question? You got to be kidding, okay? Yes. Ask her that question, okay? I got about 100 shows that, basically magnify that word. Go ahead, Cindy.
I'll give you the answer. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours. You get this show out into the airwaves, and within 2 hours, people will understand everything that they've heard about traditional banking and what they should do with their money is a fallacy. It's not geared up for us, the individual, to build wealth. And that is what Cindy's all about, is helping people like us, small business owners, creating wealth. So thank you, Cindy, and thank you for Speakeasy.
Thank you, Simone, so much.
Simone, thanks so much for calling in. Cindy, we got 4 minutes to go on the show. I want you to tell my listening audience out there, number one, how do they get in contact with this fantastic lady?
Well, the easiest way to get in contact with me is to go on my website, which is cindybirkland.com, CINDYBIRKLAND.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, so all of that will be there. You just can click on and get a hold of me through Facebook Messenger, or you can send me an email, which is cindybirkland@gmail.com. That might be the fastest way, is the email. But yeah, that's how I get a lot of my business, is through the podcast and the education that I do. People come on to cindybirkland.com and reach me that way.
Cindy, right now I'm actually interviewing and scoping a live talk show host, female, and whatnot. And I'd love to have you meet her, somewhere down the road, so you two can bounce off of this thing, because I'm telling you something, I so much believe that probably the most underserved aspect of the small business community is to elevate and expand the power of the woman in business. Because right now, you tell me right now,
well,
what's going on?
I've got all the boss babes out there. I'm doing a boss babe series right now on a boss, and we describe on the podcast, what is a boss? Well, this is a boss in the form of an adjective, and that is someone that does something very well, high rate, outstanding, best in their field. So we're talking about the boss series, and I've had a lot of boss babes on the show, and I do a lot for the small business community in the women's arena. So we just did the naked truth about women and money. We did a workshop at my girlfriend Juliana Goldberg's photography studio, and it was very, very successful. We had almost 20 women there, and they were just eating it up. It was the best one we've done so far.
Very cool. Well, Cindy, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you having you on the show today. And let me tell you something. I'm going to give you an incredible gift. You ready?
I'm ready.
You're going to be the first business we're going to bless with $2,500 worth of advertising. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yep. All right.
Thank you, Frank.
You got it. Okay. And thank you for joining me on Business Buzz and Business Watch today. And thank you, my listening audience, for tuning in to Business Buzz today. If you'd like to be a guest, or you have a business that needs to elevate your brand and expand your reach, you can reach us toll free at 877-3NOW-BUZ, or go to my live landing page, BizBuzz, that's BIZZ.live. I'll tell you what, my guest next week is incredible. You do not want to miss this show. We're actually going to be covering it with a live event that she has going in Florida. And it's whistleblowersofamerica.org. You just saw her on the Hill bringing about passage of a bill to help all of our veterans who suffer from the burning of all those fires in Iraq. And they got all kinds of terrible medical conditions, and Congress was trying to look the other way. She, with Senator Grassley, helped to push that through. And let me tell you something. This lady is a mover and shaker. She's a former U.S. Army captain. Let me tell you something. It gets really crazy when we get this lady on the air, because let me tell you something. It's all about her giving a voice to people who can't get heard. So I'm telling you right now, don't miss this show. The buzz factor of your business is what we seek to increase. Tune in next week as we bring more guests and resources like a Cindy Birkland to make your business buzz.
Cindy Birkland here. Just wanted to say thank you for watching the channel. And if you want more content, just need you to click right here. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, clicking right here. If any of these conversations have interested you, please get a hold of us at cindybirkland.com, or you can reach me at cindybirkland@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching.